Welcome back, everybody. I am here with JP. We are here with the January 2024 Star Wars CCG graded group update. This has been a fantastic year. We kicked off this contest earlier in 2023, so not quite January, but we've had a good 9 months of rolling this out. So, JP, welcome back. Any quick thoughts on recapping 2023 and the contest before we dive into the winners?
No, 2023 was the best year we've had. I mean, we've grown so much. And of course, we've seen so many new things introducing the contests. So it's really been, such a big thing over 2023 that I'm really excited to see what 2024 does. So not expected to have so many members, but we did it. We're up around 700 and still growing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, we've definitely seen growth through the group, and this is one of the most active groups, at least a part of some of the card community groups I'm on. So that's fantastic. It's a healthy market, despite the naysayers and the infighting and this price is dropping. When we're looking back at, the prices and engagement 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it's basically non-existent. So we've definitely made strides. So let's keep things in perspective here. 2023 December, the contest was Hoth, all things Hoth. And the engagement did not disappoint. I think we've had really a record turnout with the most people submitting for this contest. So this was a good contest. I was looking forward to this one because everybody loves Hoth. Empire Strikes Back, speeders and the walkers and the snow troopers, and it's just cool, it's just cool. And you got all the main characters involved with this. So let's start off with our lowball category. Our winner for our lowball category is Colt Driver. So congrats on that. Han with Blaster Rifle PSA 6 and a Blizzard 4 PSA 8. So congrats on that. We only had 2 submissions, but that is the most submissions we've had for it. So thanks, JV, for participating. But I know there are lower ones out there, so I want to see more people in the lowball category. All right, moving on to unique. This was also interesting. We had 4 submissions for that. I submitted, Max Fox did, Brian Emery and Derek Marsh submitted, and Derek killed it with the Hoth Japanese HGA 6 Veers Japanese and Blizzard 1 Japanese, both HGA custom labels. Of course, I'm a little biased with that because I think they're awesome, but they were unique. So fantastic job, Derek. Awesome slabs to show off and conversation pieces for sure. Top category, I'll leave that to you, JP. I think you're ready for this one.
Yeah, so we had 3. We couldn't decide. I mean, because there were so many great submissions. We had for top 3 in third place, we had Jamie Smith with the Reflections 1 Luke and his Wes Jansen. That was absolutely a fantastic pair. And we had to mull this over a little bit because foils are very difficult, especially me. I still won't send a lot of foils off for grading because they come back such terrible grades. So nice work there, Jamie, with the foil. Second place, we have Robert John with the nice pairing of General Veers and the Snow Trooper, both Japanese, and the Snow Trooper is the No Name Error. So that was a fantastic top pair. But your winner, first place, is Cam. So Cameron submitted, he had a PSA 10 Luke. And an SGC 10 Luke, and I don't see very many 10s. That's really super high, pristine gem mint 10 when it comes from SGC, and that's a Japanese Luke as well. So
yeah, I agree. I think that was the edge over because SGC could have just as easily made that a 9.5 or less. So the fact that he got a true 10 on a Skywalker Japanese, fantastic job, Cam. And all the other winners. These are some really cool submissions, cool slabs. I wouldn't mind owning them all. So,
yep. Good work, good competition.
Yeah, definitely good. So we heard you. We took a poll. Maybe you don't remember, but on November 30th, we took a little poll of what contest you'd like to see next. So we wanted to hear your feedback. And overwhelmingly, the category that people want to see, and you asked for it, is everything Darth Vader. So January's theme is Darth Vader. Does that mean Darth Vader just the character? No. It could be Darth Vader's tie, could be Darth Vader's lightsaber, could be a effect or interrupt that revolves around Darth Vader, has Darth Vader in it. So there is endless possibilities with where you could go with this. I'm expecting to see a lot of nice Vader cards, probably a lot of Premier Vaders, Japanese Vaders, white border, black border, foil Vaders. It's going to be awesome.
Yep. I'm looking forward. And if you guys have any questions, just you guys are doing a great job reaching out to Kyle and me and seeing does it qualify for the competition. That's like I get a couple each month, so you guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, across sets, Vader's in a lot of different cards. So not just like Darth Vader or Dark Lord of the Sith, but there could be Dark Strike. That's Vader striking down. I would take it because Vader is front and center of that card. That's a Vader card. So. Yeah. Endless possibilities there. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And of course we'll post that in the group and I'll put the rules in there. As per usual, that hasn't changed, and we'll still do top, unique, and lowball. And depending on the amount of submissions, we'll determine how many tiers of first place, second within each of those categories. So let's move into Facebook group update. Update. We're hitting almost 700. Relatively drama-free, JP?
Yeah. It's still been pretty quiet. I do love the collective knowledge. There's been a couple of interesting submissions and one that failed. So somebody turned in the checklists that are real cards. Now, these aren't inserts that came in. If you guys remember, I submitted both inserts, the Dagobah one and the Hoth one, and they got rejected because it didn't meet the minimum requirements. Excuse me. But the checklists all failed. And they said it wasn't part of any set and it didn't meet the minimum required. So, but that's just PSA. I'm sure that if you can send it off to SGC and BGS, and I'm definitely sure HGA, or you might have another favorite that you want to send it off to, they'll probably grade it. So I was pretty shocked that it didn't grade. But that's something for you to take note. So now it's not up to you to try to get PSA to get it graded. You now know somebody else paid the dummy tax for you. So I'd say that was interesting. Everybody has been getting it. I've just read just today that somebody's getting back a lot of submissions super quicker. They've turned in 3 and they're getting their last 2 before they're getting the first 3. And so you're going to see some weird stuff going on because PSA is always running specials and their volumes are up and down, and who knows how they have to right size their workforce, and all their grading techs are probably constantly brought on as contractors to fill those gaps when they've got too much volume or when they have too little. They start asking everybody, giving you specials so that you send in more cards. So you're going to see a different variants on times. You're going to see different variants on grades. So I just want to say, hang in there. I'm encouraging you guys to don't give up. They don't just roll dice and decide what they're giving you, because I just seen Kyle's last returns and they were absolutely fantastic. So
yeah, I would say to piggyback off that, a lot of people are like, oh, they're fast now, they're slow now. It's like, well, I had for the past 2 months, I had, no joke, maybe 6 to 8 submissions out at any given time. So I'm tracking multiple orders when some were sent in at similar times, within 2-3 days, and others were sent a week later, 2 weeks later. But no rhyme or reason. The ones I submitted first, as bulk, took some of the longest, and some of the ones that were TCG regular or whatever, different tiers, whatever, and some of those just got pushed forward, and some of them I literally submitted 2 separate boxes at the same time. One came back 2 weeks earlier. I don't know if I'd overanalyze that. I think it's just kind of one of those things, the box ends up here, it ends up in a queue and moves through a specific team that maybe goes through it. So I don't put too much weight into it, but I will say that they've always delivered recently well within the maximum day that they have it out, or like they're forecasting. I think the original bulk things I submitted weren't scheduled to return until January 20th, late January, and they came back, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So I was happy about that, but I don't really put much merit into it. I think with Christmas, holidays, people are thinking of spending everywhere else, so they're not thinking of spending on themselves and submitting. However, some grading companies ask for the money up front to grade, and then they grade it. And then companies like PSA, you submit, and then they only demand the money once they've done it. And they're like, oh, yes, this fits this category, because in case they want to charge you more, they're like, oh, this card's worth more. And they've done that to me before. Like, one card's worth more in their eyes, which I'm like, there's no way it is. They just jump up the whole order. So I tend to not submit like 100 cards at once unless I'm very confident that like these are definitely under $200 or under $500. So just a word of caution and why I do that. It's annoying that they charge you so much for shipping on the back end too. But
right.
If I'm thinking like, okay, do I want to front load and pay for this stuff up front? Maybe not. Like, maybe I should be spending my money, holidays, birthdays, trips, whatever. So maybe I'll just defer it a month or something. So, there's those considerations. But I would imagine the wintertime, now it's post-holiday, people are probably catching up on paying off their credit cards. But I think very quickly, by like, late January, February, I think we're going to see a big volume increasing of submissions and getting back into the hobby because everyone's indoors. It's cold. No one wants to be outside, so this is where we dive back into our hobbies in our little man caves.
That's right.
And get right into it. At least that's my hypothetical theory there. But let's talk about real quick our 2024, goals in terms of what we want to do grading wise. Anything specific, anything prioritized in your side?
Yeah. So, I've gotten a few people interested in it too, personally in my family. So, I've got stacks that I'm ready to send in for grading. They're getting bigger and bigger all the time. Now, I haven't submitted, I think, since July. You secretly
buying them, or you're just working through scanning your cards and prepping them?
Yeah, just getting them. I have sets and sets and sets that are ready to go. And my personal collection is BGS. So right now I'm just talking for probably PSA, maybe a little SGC. And then I've got a couple of fun ones for HGA that I want to go. But for my giant personal collection, because I'm grading everything. It's already staged and ready to go. I've got boxes and boxes of each set. That's already been inspected and ready to go. And those are always kind of back burner because, 180 cards, 100 cards, sometimes, a couple sets can go. That's pretty costly. So to keep the interest going, PSA is always running specials and they're fairly cheap. And, a lot of people get excited about it. So, and I don't usually get rid of too much, but I'm still trying to keep interest with the people I'm collecting personally with. I have my home is up for sale and I moved my home into another house. And so my whole collection's buried right now. It's in a room within a room and I got furniture in there. So I'm kind of shut down for maybe a little bit in 2024. I'm just going to have to live vicariously through everybody in their videos of submitting and returns. And that's been exciting. I know Matt's been doing some fun stuff too. There's been some great quarterly reports and all your videos, even though it's not Star Wars CCG, you've got all kinds of cool, fun videos to watch. But right now I'm kind of just running idle until I get my house sold. So
yeah, that totally makes sense. Life comes first with that. Well, I can tell you what I was telling you before offline, but my collecting goals with Star Wars CCG are, if I have not already, or continuing to submit I want all the anthologies graded. I want the Red Leader, Gold Leaders graded, which I have, but I'd like to submit more. The Jedi packs, the promo packs, like the tournament sealed deck packs, those are of interest to me because I think it can still be kind of challenging, but they're still readily available, so I can continue to submit more and more. And if I come across extras, I will certainly share those. I still have a bunch of like Reflections 1 foils, so that's kind of like more of a passive project. But the other thing I'm still eyeing and considering is my Japanese Premier cards. The extra ones I've been going through with a fine-tooth comb have been grading very well. So it kind of drew my attention after I realized how many good graded. I mean, I have 17 Japanese Premier 10s and like another 20 9s, which is fantastic. And I think I have plenty of more Japanese cards to submit. So I'm now looking at all the commons and uncommons and extra rare 2s that I have. If they are really clean, I will submit them in bulk because they've been grading really well. I don't know what I'll do with them. I don't know if anyone's thinking that's crazy because they're not worth it. But for me, it's more of like a fun side project, see where it goes. Because before you know it, if you have like 100 Japanese Premier cards, 200 Japanese Premier cards graded, and they're all 9s and 10s, I mean, that's impressive. Like, that's interesting. And we've seen a lot of Japanese Premier 10s from C-3PO and Darth Vader, and like some of those are commanding high premiums, but that's the harder stuff, I guess. But if those are coming out 10s, like why couldn't the rest of these come out
right
9s and 10s? So, collectively out what's in population, there's some very impressive Japanese Premier cards. They come out cleaner. I will say they're going to grade better than your English
I agree.
Black border, sure. So it's not really an apples to apples comparison. They're generally better centered, better cut, have less white spots and stuff like that. So I guess
it's a better card base. It's a better stock. So yeah, you don't see so much damage. There's better quality control too.
Yeah, so they're gonna grade better. So I wouldn't necessarily see it as like, oh my god, like PSA is really great on one side and bad on the other. Like I still struggle with foils, and there's still plenty of 8s. And even 9s, but I would say a foil 9 is like really impressive because 10s are that's just godlike luck. Like that doesn't really happen. Nobody saw it and was like, this is definitely a PSA 10. Like, because you could still say that and it could still come back an 8 or a 9. And God help you with the rest of the companies. I highly doubt those would come back 10s. Like PSA, you just have a chance at it, but like definitely not with HGA or SGC would be very difficult. I'm not saying it's not possible, but very, very rare. So I am kind of getting out of the foil game in terms of Reflections 3 and 2. It's crazy expensive, really difficult. So I'll leave that to somebody else. It's stupid hard.
So hard.
I'll let somebody else do it. And frankly, I don't have the raw cards enough to be able to submit and do that. But I do with Japanese Premier because I have so many of them, and I still have lots of unopened packs. And I know I haven't put many Star Wars CCG pack rip videos, but I've been putting aside packs that I will rip. So I'm just letting everybody, kind of have their downtime. And then when they get the hype up and everyone's wondering where the packs are, I'll start ripping them again. But but if I do rip them, I'm going to think of grading them, whether that's for personal collection or, a registry set. I probably will.
That's right. Who knows where it'll go if you can end up something close to the set. Or just imagine if you had the set, everything 9 or 10 in Japanese Premier. I mean, that thing would be worth quite a bit of money, I think.
Hypothetically, yes. Would somebody say, here's, X dollars to pay for it? Like, probably not. And I recognize that. So the trolls like Andy can keep it zipped, because if I had it, I would just think it's cool. It'd probably be tough for me to sell that. If I did sell that, I would want it to go to a home where somebody like really valued that. But it's not about me grading it so I can flip it next week and make
right. That's like not the goal. It ends up being a bonus, though. It ends up being the end product. And when I first started collecting this, I had no idea it was ever going to be worth any money. And now look at the value. How many times? It seems like every year it just keeps going up and up and up. And there's no I don't see any prices going down yet. I mean, some of the sealed stuff this past December, we've seen some things, but that would be I mean, it's one of one set. If you had all Japanese premiere, man, that'd be
crazy. Yeah, it's cool. It's a conversation piece. I think the slabs I'm selling are like duplicates of mine. Like I have other ones, so I don't need them, and I don't want to be a hoarder of slabs. If somebody does, great. Or some people just want to grade them just so they could sell them and like make a quick $10 or something. Because let's be honest, by the time you grade it, ship it, tax and all this stuff, it's like, if I'm gonna go rip a booster pack, take the foil, grade it, get it back, even if it comes back good, like that's still like a lot of effort for not that much. Like if you really want to invest, maybe you should look at like stocks or something else. So I get that. I'm just stating that for those who are like, what are you doing? Like that's crazy. Like maybe it is, but I like looking at the slabs on my wall. I like going through the boxes and looking at them and like, so I'm truly collecting them. But that's all I got for this month. And looking forward to the Vader submissions. I don't know what I'll submit, but
yeah, we'll see. I can't wait to see what that brings up. I do want to say, I think I made a statement in our last video that I was reaching out to PSA to see if we can get showcased maybe in their magazine, because I'm starting to see other, gaming cards that get articles and columns in there, and I haven't heard back from them, but I explained quite a bit of what we're doing in the group, including keeping track of all the historic prices and kind of what sales look like and how the growth is getting larger. It's not stagnant in any way. And so it's all organic growth. So I'm still waiting to hear back from their customer service or somebody to reach out and at least give me something that says, hey, we'll get back to you or something. But I just want to let you know, I did reach out to PSA customer service with seeing if we can get, an article in their magazine.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Well, appreciate your effort with that. You're the most connected to understand that world more than I do. So,
well, I try to. I mean, I want to represent the group and try to, I there in the beginning when we had just a few hundred people, I was trying to rattle their cages just so we can get better deals, and all of a sudden now they just categorize us under the TCG group. So we constantly have good rates. So I don't have to say, hey, give Star Wars CCG graded group a special discount or anything like that. We're just now part of a group at the grading services. So
I think part of it, that data will help, because then you could say, well, look at these PSA slabs. Look at what some of these ones sold for. Like, this is serious. Like, this is not your $20 Pokemon card. This is
right. Well, that's why it'd be
more than a lot of sports cards. So,
and plus it's all out of print. It's not like they're making more like they're doing with Magic and Pokemon and anything else. And there's a lot of dead gaming. And if you're not part of that dead gaming group, there is a dead gaming cards group too. That's really interesting and fun to be part of. Check that out. Give them a shout out. It's Star Wars CCG is just look, more people are playing it now. It's gone up in playership too. So you'll see there's all kinds of competitions and championships around the United States. More and more people playing it, so more and more people trying to get their hands on it. So I still feel like there's going to be a slight bank run on sealed products. And just this December, we saw quite a big sales in sealed products. So it's gonna get rolling.
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited for that. JP, thanks for hanging out with me again. This has been awesome.
All right. Thanks, Kyle.